Good morning. I'm Cynthia Hoven, and this is the second Eurythmy class in the Eurythmy webinar series, Our Soul, Our Body, and Reincarnation. So glad to see you again on this Tuesday morning, sorry. And as I prepared for this webinar this morning, a number of pictures went through my head. And one of them was thinking of a memorial that we had for a good friend of mine who died last winter, and several other friends who died. And my thoughts extended towards those who live on the other side of the threshold of life and death, who take part in our Eurythmy practices with us. And I also thought of one of you. If you're here, you'll recognize these words. One of you who wrote an email to me and said so very kindly, I don't think that my life would be the way it is if I weren't doing Eurythmy. I'm so very grateful that I found this. It makes me be healthy. And with that, I thought of a dear friend of mine who's living in Europe, in Switzerland, and she's 94 years old. And for at least the last 50 years, she's been doing Eurythmy every day. And every time we speak, she tells me, I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't have the vitality that I have in my body if I didn't have a daily Eurythmy practice. So those were the thoughts going through my head as I prepared for meeting with you again today. And I'm so grateful to have all of you coming in and doing your Eurythmy practice with me. And my heartfelt wish is that this serves you in so many aspects of your life. For indeed, the forces that we are moving in Eurythmy are the same forces that we gathered to ourselves in the process of incarnation. These are zodiacal and planetary sculptural forces that made our body, that we pulled in to create the temple of our instrument. And when we do Eurythmy, we are re-engaging, re-enlivening, recommitting to these divine cosmic forces. So with those words, friends, let's begin. Take your place in your Eurythmy space. Before you simply move your arms into position, always take a moment to be fully present. It takes at least the time of one sober breath, feeling, now I'm going to begin something different, my spiritual work. And then with mindfulness, we'll build up together again the peace exercise, and we're sending our commitment and wishes for peace throughout our world, especially to the suffering that's going on in Ukraine and all those who are tied into this tormented conflict. So standing straight, we commit to being peacemakers on this planet. We stand straight, and the straightness is our integrity. We're aligned with the stars above our head. We're aligned with the earth below our feet. We stand here committed to do the good. And now we spread our arms right and left as we've been practicing all of these months together. Standing in the shape of the cross, we commit to connecting the warmth of our love to the light of our spirit. Our heart is open to feel the humanity and all that's going on. And we become conscious in this cross of one more dimension for which we don't have arms, the dimension of front and back. And we feel ourselves pierced by a third line of light going right through the heart. We live in this space. And now we'll move through the 6 dimensions of this space. And our first movement now is to go down. Going down, we make our arms full of power. We feel, I'm so grateful to be on the earth. I'm committed to matter. Release. And let yourself be drawn upwards. You see, I'm not using my muscles exactly. I'm just letting anti-gravity lift me, and I feel connected to the stars above my head, the light-filled realms. And now I spread my arms wide, continuing to feel grounded in my legs, light above my head, and I feel I'm connected to humanity. And now I feel the other dimension of space, front space and back space. I take a step forwards and notice what it is to move into the visible space in front of me, the space that I can easily touch, and I feel I love this whole world of appearances. And now I feel my backspace and feel, I notice that I can't see what's behind me. I'm always carrying the backspace with me in my life. There's an invisible portion of life at all times. And now, with my feet together, I draw my hands to myself. I also draw light in from above, power in from below. I draw front space and back space to my heart, and I feel inside my pulsing, human, warm, loving heart, the whole world imprints itself. The whole world finds its reflection in my being. And now I repeat that. I spread my arms into this cross and I feel the 3 dimensions, the 6 spheres of light. I go down into gravity. Gravity, I greet you. I turn my arms up. I go up into lightness. No muscle tension on this. We discover anti-gravity and come back to hold the balance in the middle, aware of light above, earth below, and the world of humanity with love and suffering. I go forward into the world of the senses. And now feel your back before you move. Feel your shoulder blades, the back of your arms. Feel behind your head. Feel the unknowing. And now bring your hands to your heart. Inside my heart, I'm constantly processing all these things of life. And now the 3rd time we make our solemn commitment to be peacemakers, stand in the cross. And as we've practiced these many weeks, feel your hands to be the hands of a healer. As you go down, you feel, may peace be on this earth below me. Turn your hands up. May peace reign in the heavens above me. May peace reign throughout humanity. As I live in this world, may I love the world with peace. May peace be behind me, safety and goodness. May peace be within me. May I at all times understand how to cultivate peace in my heart and let it ray out through my being. And directly from here, we'll take our next Eurythmy exercise, the contraction and expansion exercise, connecting our personal heart to the heart of the universe. Unfold your arms into lightness. Again, you don't have to stretch them. You just let them be light. And now let the light of the universe, the light of the spiritual world, the light that shines to the sun and the sky, let it imprint itself in your heart where it becomes warmth of love. Open wide. Feel yourself in the heart of divinity and let divinity impress itself into you. And today, as we do this, I'll use these words. In me is God. And unfold and feel I am in God. And fold your arms into yourself. In me is God. And unfold. I am in God. And once again, in me is God or spirit, divinity, and I am in God. And drop your arms. Feel yourself straight and tall. And at this moment, I want to speak for you the Eurythmy verse that we've done before. And you can feel this resounding through your body. These words, I seek within me creative forces working, creative powers living. Now think of your feet for a moment. The heavy weight of earth tells me through the word of my feet. And think of your hands, lightness. The forming power of the air tells me through the singing of my hands. And now feel your head noble and quietly resting on your shoulders. The strength of heaven's light tells me through the thinking of my head. And now think of God all around you. How the great world in the human being, think of your feet, how the great world speaks, sings, and thinks. And now with this meditative picture, you're feeling your three centers in Eurythmy, the head, the heart, and the feet. And as our next step, let's work a bit on our walking. Those of you who've done Eurythmy with me for a while, you know the Eurythmy threefold walking practice, but let's review it again. And there are a few new people, but because this threefold walking is so essential to Eurythmy, let's review it once again from the depths. When we do Eurythmy, the feet must learn to talk to the earth. Every step becomes conscious. So instead of just flopping through the world as we walk with deliberate steps. And each step has three phases. The first is lifting the foot, but we don't just lift it out of the knees. We feel how we roll the foot off the floor. This is the lift. Right now, I still have my toe touching the floor. With the carry, I bring my foot from behind in front, and then with place, I meet the ground with the toe or the ball of the foot, just in between there, and I roll the foot down. And behind me, I lift the heel, the arch, the toe. I carry behind, beside, in front, and I place toe, arch, heel. And heel, arch, toe, behind, beside, in front, toe, arch, heel. And from the behind the other foot, lift, carry, and place. And now we'll reverse direction, lift, carry, and place. Lift, and of course, when you go backwards, it's easier to touch with this unusual kind of touching toe first. That's very organic. And we go just a little bit more, if you will. Remember, this is so harmonizing for the soul, for the body. Okay, from behind, lift, carry, and place. Lift, carry, and place. And please notice, as I've told you before, when we do this walking, This enables us to move our center of sensation, our grounded self, move it up to the heart. So I always feel when I'm doing my walking practice or anything in Eurythmy that my feet are carrying my heart through the world. It makes me really understand how to be a peacemaker, mindful walking, spiritually present. How with every deed I want to be present with my loving heart. Carry place. And now it's essential at this slow speed that we're also practicing or being mindful of a very gentle breathing. When we do this slow walking, every step has an inhalation, a hold, and an exhalation. In, hold, and out. Ground. In, hold, and out. Very, very organically. Yeah. Very regulating so that our breath and our movements are one. Place, lift, carry, place, lift, carry, and place. All right, thank you. I'll turn and face forward again. Building on what we just did, I want to weave into this awakened consciousness of the difference between moving forwards into the sense world or moving back into the invisible world. So let's take 4 steps forward, lift, carry, place. Notice how easy it is to walk forwards. That's very simple. We're familiar with that every day. Feel the front of your legs. Your entire body becomes a sense organ. Your entire body feels this. And now walk backwards and feel that you're looking with your back. As you go into the back space, you can't use your regular eyes. You need to develop spiritual eyes. Okay, let's try that. Coming forwards again. This is much more familiar to us, but I want you to use not just these eyes, but also the eyes in your thighs, the eyes in your knees, the eyes in your shins. You come forwards and you can feel you're even pressing a little bit against the computer screen. Now, as you go backwards, flip your awareness, know where the wall is. You're pressing your space back there. And to anyone out there who's new and hasn't practiced this yet, you need to know how many times I've emphasized you can spend hours doing threefold walking. It's such a foundation for presencing yourself. We also can think of Thich Nhat Hanh, right? Who took hundreds and hundreds, probably many thousands of people on mindful walks in the course of his life. In Eurythmy, we do that too. And in Eurythmy, we lift that not only into mindfulness, but into an art form, an expressive art in which you are really conscious of expressing your connection to heaven through your head, to the earth through your legs, to presencing by being right here. Thank you. One more time, going backwards. 1, feel your back space. Very good. Now, let's integrate that with this exercise that we had just a moment ago with in me is God. I am in God. It will be normal to feel this contracting movement as we go forwards and this expanding movement as we go back. And please notice this. Let me reiterate this. Coming forward, we feel we're going into the sense world. It's like being born or waking up in the morning. That's why we contract as we go forwards. And going backwards, it is like falling asleep or passing out of this world at death, where you feel the invisible realm that is in fact always with us. So we're going to integrate that now with our threefold walking. Spread your arms wide. At the same time, be mindful of your feet. And let's take 4 steps forward. And in doing so, contract your forces into your heart. God is in me. And now going back, feel your shoulder blades, feel the surfaces of your back, and open up to the light, open up to the spirit world. I am in God. And now feel the front of your body, the front of your hands and your arms, the front of your legs. In me is God. Now feel your back of your shoulder blades. As you go backwards, you don't really look at the computer screen. You look with the back of your head at all the things you can't see. Coming forwards, your eyes focus differently because you're coming into the world. Going back, you feel differently. Good. And with every step, take care that you're touching the ground with your toes first, not with your flat foot. And going back. Once again, I'll go in profile for you. Be sure you touch with the toes first with every step. And I am in God. Go beyond your fingertips and bring all that into yourself. In me is God. And spread your arms wide. I am in God. And rest. We are aware that this is a reality for everyone. We are in God. God is in them. Thank you. And now we're going to continue something that I haven't really worked on very much, even in all these 2 years of online classes. We're going to do a inward winding spiral as we do the words, in me is God. And then we'll do an outward winding spiral as we move into the space around us and feel I am in God. So I'm going to trace this with my hand. I'm going to make an inward winding spiral going to my left. So take your left hand, and it will look like it's the opposite of mine. Take your left hand and go that way to the forefront, and around to the right, and then come in and land yourself in the center of the spiral. And now unwind and go over there to the right in your room, to the front, back around, and back to where you're standing. Okay, go to your left. You're drawing this into space. You're kind of making an etheric current that you're going to fill in a moment. And then go back, go to your right over there, go forward, go to your left, and come back again. Okay? Let's try that with without doing the contracting, expanding movement with the hands. Go to your left, forwards. And then continue forwards, coming close to your computer or the front of your moving space. Then go back a little bit to your right and come to the center of your room. And here you should, at the center of the spiral, you will be hard, tiny, like this, wrapped up. And now we'll go back out, unspiral, come close to the computer, go back out. Yeah. All right. I'm going to turn around and do it with you. I am far away from the screen. Just a second. I need to be here. And so that I can feel like I'm doing the same thing you are, I'm going to wind this way. So follow me. You go to your left, forwards. Forward. Now you spiral, and you are in the center. On spiral, you go back, you go to your right, you go to your front, you go to your left, you go back here. Again, to your left, forwards. Now you're getting closer to your center. Come to the middle point, the feed point, and unspiral. Okay, let me turn. And this time I will pull you as if we were standing in the same room together. So I see you there at the back of your movement space. I'm going to invite you, come towards me, come to your left, come towards me to the front of your space and start going back and go back a little bit more in that invisible space until you land at the center. You're in the center of your movement space. And now you're going to go back in your movement space, go to your right, go to the front of your movement space, go to your left, walking backwards until you end up back where you started. One more time, come, and to the front, backwards to your right, to the back of your movement space, and your steps get smaller. And now start to unwind until your steps get larger. And I want you to feel how this movement is breathing. Okay, let's try to integrate that with our hands now. You're feeling yourself big, and you're going to spiral in to feel in me is God. Unspiral. I am in God. And again, in me is God. Unspiral. Let it be a dynamic movement. I am in God. Can you let your movement get a little bit slower as you approach the center? You slow down a little bit. In me is God. And now your unwinding is tender, a little bit slow. I am in God. Bring it in. Breathing in me is God. I am in God. Rest. I use the term breathing. I say, let this be a breathing form. And I don't directly mean your lungs breathing. I mean the breathing of your movement. And you know, sometimes you might see trees that look like they're breathing with the wind, or ocean waves are breathing. So too your spiral should breathe. And then your personal physical breath will align itself with the movement breath. When we can establish that, then we're really working with the realm of Eurythmy, the etheric world, where we join these forces of nature, expand and contract constantly. we took the spiral clockwise, beginning to the left. And I just want to assure you that it's valid to take it also clockwise to the right. You could do either way or forwards and back. But we'll stay with this one that we're developing already here. And I'm bringing this in this class to now integrate with this the feeling as if you are coming into the world to get born. So this journey from being in God to having God inside of you is a picture of you coming through the zodiac, gathering the forces from the stars, from the constellations, and from the planets. You bring them all together, and then you are laid in the womb of the mother. And then you unfold, or you unfolded when you were born, and your life unfolded. And then with every day, you come into your body and you go out again at night. And then there's the great cycle that you have come in, and when you die, you pass out again into the cosmic world. So let's do this in-winding spiral again with this image that it's not just a contracting, expanding exercise, but it's an exercise of incarnating. Spread your arms wide. Open your heart. Your arms are light and weightless. You're not overstretched. Your arms are light. And now come forward to your left, touching stars, touching constellations, gathering them, bringing them, wrapping them around you until you can imagine your very delicate light body is in the womb of the mother. And then we're going to unwind and find our way back to the stars like we do every night when we fall asleep. And so also at death. Now we could do many, many more cycles, but I won't give you more, but you could spin and in and in and in, really make a tiny snail shell. You can practice that at home if you like. Okay, forwards to your left, coming in, smaller and smaller and smaller. We are born and going back to source. And again, from the zodiac all the way to the mother womb, the seed, and back out again. I am in God. And rest. The spiraling movement is the archetype that we find in the sound B in Eurythmy. If you're new to Eurythmy, the thought is that every single sound of language is in essence a movement. And when we're in a body, we hear these movements as they're imprinted into the vibrating air through someone's larynx, through their speech. But even more profoundly than being an audible element, sounds are movements, creative, wisdom-filled movements, the language of divine spiritual beings. And so the study of Eurythmy means getting to know the cosmic creative forces. And the sound B, as in the word baby and embryo and butterfly and bud, All these words talk about creating skins around things. So let's practice now this spiral feeling by learning the sound B. Some of you know it already, but imagine yourself straight and tall, filled with light as you were before you were born, as you are in your inner core. And you reach back and you remind yourselves, you're aware of all the great spiritual beings that surround you. And you're going to pull them around you like a cloak, like a sheath, and make a body. And in this case, I'm not going to take this feeling of wrapping all the way to my physical body, because I take it and keep it out here at the size of my etheric body, actually, my life body. And let's try again. Yellow light. And in your cloak that you build around you is blue, deep, beautiful, motherly blue. And you wrap that blue around you. And now you are enclosed in body. Now you'll remember, if you've done this before, that you stand with yellow, you reach back to catch that blue cloak, but the lining of this cloak is red. So as you pull this blue cloak of stars and spirit light around you, you're also pulling this redness of the lining to yourself. And when the bee is well formed like this, then you're feeling, I am yellow inside. My spirit is bright and tall. I feel the power of the bee that lets me stand straight. And I feel safe and protected by the cloak of the blue stars around me. Again, reach back and pull the blue cloak with the red lining around your yellow core. And the moment when that B is finished, when the sound is finished, is when inwardly you hear B, B. That's the moment of the clicking of the sound. And all of this, part of it, is the preparation for the sound. And that's where the B sounds in speech. And as you remember, we don't speak the sound in eurythmy. Only the teacher does, or the reciter, but in your personal practice, you don't speak it. Now look, it's possible to have either arm on top. So I will begin to speak the sound, but please don't speak it yourself. Make it big, and at this moment, buh. And your attempt, your inner work, is to finish your movement at the same time that I speak it, so that my word and your intention match. Buh. And again. Buh. And again. Buh. And now, as you do it in your personal practice, you will not speak it, but you will try to feel what you just felt with preparation, 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 and there's the bee. And now we're going to match that with the spiral. I stand here. I will lead you again with my back to you. I feel the stars around me. I make my mental picture first, my imagination. Now I begin and I go and I feel stars over there on my left. I feel stars in front of me. I feel stars on my right. I feel stars behind me. And from all of them, I have gathered blessings and build my body. And unfold. And I won't give you a sound on the way out yet. Okay. And again, bring it in from your left and from in front of you and from your right side. You build your body and unwind. Good. I will turn around and I'll walk backwards. Don't change anything for yourself. I'm pulling you now. I'm pulling you forwards, pulling you over to your side, your right side, and we all land in the center. And unwind. As I said, right now, I won't give you a sound for unwinding. All right. With this, we're going to hear the first line of the poem that we're working on. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. So as we spiral in, I'll speak the lines of this poem. And in this case, because it's a beginner's class, we will finish the B when we arrive in the center, not at the moment that I say the word birth, where the actual B in the line is. So let's begin, and we're drawing star forces. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. Unwind. And again, our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. Imagine yourself now landed there in the watery womb and ready to grow into the world. Unwind. And again, imagine constellations all around you, on all sides of you. Wrap them in. You have a cloak of stars. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. And let's unwind. Right? This poem will continue, and I'd like to take one more step on the poem with you today. This poem by William Wordsworth says, our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had elsewhere its setting and cometh from afar. Let me say that again. I'd like you to internalize it so that you'll be able to understand what kind of movements will belong to this. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had elsewhere its setting and cometh from afar. So our soul star inside our body has come from God's world And there it was, shining bright, that star. It comes from far away, but it had its setting as it was laid into the mother womb. Again, our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. What have we forgot? The soul that rises with us, our life star, hath had elsewhere its setting and cometh from afar. All right. Let me show you the form that I want to develop with you on this. I'll show it to you on my perspective, and then later I'll develop it by turning for you. But we will have here, our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life star, hath had elsewhere its setting and cometh from afar. And I'm going to end this poem really close to the front of the room, like quite far forward, feeling my backspace, like I'm remembering where that star came from. Can you see? I'm not opening to there. I'm remembering that the star came from that realm behind me. I don't want to overstretch. I stand straight, but I feel that I'm opening my antennas, my feeling to the back world. Okay. We'll do that one more time, and next week we'll work more on that. But then we will leave this poem, and we're going to go after this now back to the constellations that we worked on last week. So let's create this spiral as we've been doing, and I'll turn for you. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. Spiral in. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. Now I'm going to spiral out as if I'm getting born into the world. I spiral. Remember, I told you I wouldn't show you the arms yet, but we will expand. The soul that rises with us, our life star. And now we're going to walk into the front space, which always means I'm walking into the world. So I'm walking forwards, not in the spiral anymore. I'm actually walking to my right and to my left. Our life star hath had elsewhere its setting and cometh. Now I do this gesture and feel comes from afar. All right. Next week, we will develop that and the line after that. But now I'd like to resume this intense work that we did last week, which I hope fervently wasn't too much for anyone out there who's a beginner. Last week, we did the cycle of the entire zodiac. And our beginning point was to say that the forms of the zodiac are the sculptural forms that have made our body. And from each zodiac sign comes a consonant towards us, which is in its essence a formative force. But when we live on the earth and we have physical ears and we hear the sound as an auditory experience, but more than auditory, it's a tactile, it's a dynamic experience. Let's remember what we did. Follow me. I said the first sign of the zodiac is Aries. Aries has created the head forces. The gift of Taurus is the throat, our speech. The gift of Gemini is our arms, our shoulders, and our two-sidedness. The gift of Cancer is the rib cage and the lungs especially. The gift of Leo is the heart inside the rib cage. And the gift of Virgo, the sixth sign, is the metabolic system, the inner trunk. The gift of Libra, the seventh sign, the hips, the pelvis. The gifts of Scorpio, the gifts of reproduction. Sagittarius is the first of the signs that takes us down into the legs. Sagittarius, the thighs, going deeper. Capricorn, the knees and all the joints. And Aquarius, the shins and the calves. And Pisces, the last sign, the feet and the hands. So again, Aries, the head. Taurus, the throat. Gemini, the arms, our two sides. Cancer, the ribs and the lungs. Leo, the heart. Virgo, the trunk, the inner body, the metabolism. Libra, the hips. Scorpio, the reproductive organs. Sagittarius, the thighs. Capricorn, the knees. Aquarius, the shins and the calves. And Pisces, the feet and the hands. And now you remember we saw these as the circle that surrounds us, even as the circle of the zodiac is around us in the skies. And the planets are always passing through the signs of the zodiac. Any of you out there who know astrology or astronomy know this. And so we're going to recreate that circle. And by the way, I created the notes for this and included them in your PDF for today. So be sure to open the PDF. So we're going to start with the sign of Aquarius, which we must imagine ourselves in a clock. I've just come back to the center of my room. I imagine myself in a circle, the circle of the zodiac, and I imagine at 3 o'clock on this clock is the first sign, the beginning, Aries. It's not at 12, it's at 3. Aries, behind me is Cancer. Over here on my left is Libra, and in front of me is Capricorn. And last week I did it facing the front the whole time. Today I'm going to turn around, hoping that will make it easier for you. So I'll turn around as if I was in a class with you. And I'm going to go to the right, which is the 3 o'clock of my circle. So you should all be standing on the right side of your room, like we did last week. Now we're going to make a circle clockwise. We start at 3. We're going to go clockwise back to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Going to continue to the left, 7, 8, 9, forwards, 10, 11, 12, and then 1, 2, and 3. We're back where we began. And now as we do that same thing, I'll speak the signs of the zodiac in the order that I just gave them before. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, and back to the beginning. And we have 4 segments, so that if you're not familiar with this, the way that I'm speaking will help you to memorize them and internalize it. First 3, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. The next 3, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, the signs of summer in the Northern Hemisphere. The next 3, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, that was autumn, and now Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Back to the beginning. All right, let's put our hands on our body for the different parts as we did a moment ago. Aries gives you your head, Taurus the throat, Gemini the two sides, Cancer the ribs and the lungs, Leo the heart, Virgo the inner body, and then Libra the hips, Scorpio the reproduction, Sagittarius the thighs, Capricorn the knees, Aquarius the shins, Pisces the feet, and back again. This time I'm going to turn around, but I'll be going in the same direction you're going. Cancer, so you walk backwards as you just did. Cancer, Taurus, Gemini. Cancer, did I say Aries, Taurus, Gemini? Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Back to the beginning. Thank you. And now, like we did last week, we worked with the sounds that come from each zodiac sign. And many of you know the sounds. If you're new, I just ask you to do your very best to come with us. So with Aries, we had the sound whoa, and then we have Taurus. And with Gemini, ha. With Cancer, the next three now with Cancer, we have Cancer gives me the lungs. With Leo, the heart. With Virgo, the inner body. With Libra, the hands up. With Scorpio, S. With Sagittarius, G. With Capricorn, L. With Aquarius, M, or last week I taught you that with both hands parallel, M. And with Pisces, N. And back to Aries. As I said in the beginning of the class, these are the sounds that have made our body. So we can look, when we study embryology, we can look for the gesture of in the convolutions of the brain, for instance. Speaks of how the air is rolling through the larynx. And ha, the sound of Gemini really is the sound of being ripped into two sides, and so on. All the way around the zodiac, we were given the forces that live as movements and as shapes in our body. Let's do this one more time, and let's make a special notice of Virgo, which is the sign of the Virgin or the sign of the Mother. And Virgo has given us the wrapping us in the skin of flesh. All right, let's begin. Aries, whoa, and Taurus, the throat, and Gemini, ha, two sides. F, like a stream of breath from the lungs, exhaled. And Leo from the heart, taking cosmic forces into the center. And Virgo, the great mother, wraps us in flesh. And Libra, and Scorpio and Sagittarius. G, L, and M, Aquarius, M, and N. And so then as we do the poem, we feel that we spiral around. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. And we have largely forgotten these forces, but they work into us. Now, as we draw this lesson to a close, I would like to conclude with the Eurythmy sound, hallelujah. Those of you who've done Eurythmy with me or with others before are aware that we use the word hallelujah as a word of praise, but it's also a word of purification, and it's a word that has great spiritual power. And we like to use this as a Eurythmy gift offering to those who have died, or to friends or people we know who are ill. We use it to purify our own space. But when we do this in a united way with all of us, wherever we are, we can also send our prayerful blessing intentions towards the place of war in the Ukraine. Unfortunately, we know that's not the only war that's raging on our planet, but it's definitely the most dramatic and largest and most grievous right now, but there are many. And if we do the hallelujah, we, united from all these places on the earth where we stand, can send a commitment and intention of peace. This word hallelujah has several sounds. If you've done Eurythmy with me, you know them. If not, you'll just need to follow along. But we do the sound ha and then ah. And then we will do the sound L, which is the sound of real transformative purification. We'll do 7 L's and then an A, a sound of gathering strength and focus, and 3 more great L's of blessing. And then ooh, ee, ah, a petition to the spiritual world to take our prayer and respond with blessings. So if you're new, do your best to join us. And if you know this already, let's magnify our personal strength. We begin by folding our arms, conscious of the fact that if you are committed to spirit, you can have a great effect on the world. With that, we begin with the sound H. I open myself to the spirit. And we invoke the light of spirit to shine down upon our earth. Now we begin with a small L. We cleanse the feet of the world, the legs of the world, the metabolism of the world. Number 4, we cleanse the heart. We cleanse our voices. We cleanse our thoughts. May we be cleansed. We commit to our spiritual work. We cleanse imagination, our spiritual vision, our spiritual hearing, We cleanse the deepest core of our being. Now we draw all of our forces to the earth and raise our sound in ooh to the heavens. Ooh. We stand as committed workers for peace. We give our prayer back to the Spirit. Yeah, so wonderful to take a walk this morning and know that you are all getting your Eurythmy shoes out and getting ready to go with me. Thank you so much. Michelle, thank you. And I'll see you all next week, or you'll see me, all of us.
You'll be here.
Bye for now.